Hello again, everybody. This is Vice and Keynes with another Watch Your Runes video. In this one, I'm going to be focusing on the Furious Torrent here in the Immortal Codex. I have now gotten the opportunity to try him out here in the public server with my main account. If you subscribe to the channel, you probably have seen the presentations that I did when this boss was introduced in the Forerunner Server. Now, there, my champion rosters are a little bit limited, so we were able to at least get into the S plus range with some of the heroes that I did have. Now, as I've been tinkering here, and we still have about a day left on this, at least in this rotation, I did manage to get into the top 100. So basically, it ended up being kind of a copycat version of some of the compositions that I saw in my guild along the guildmates and some of the leaderboard. And of course, we knew right away from the Forerunner server, Nyx and Rasak were going to be the key players in this, and we could boost them up with Dolores. And they do so much damage in this. And I am glad that I finally, because Nyx was one of the first marksmen that I got in the game here in the public server. And I'm glad that I finally kind of dusted her off a little bit and was able to bring her out to play. I do have her in my Gear Raid 3 composition just to cover the left-hand side, but I haven't really used her too much anywhere else. So here, I just kind of put her in a Soulbound Arcana set. I did try to get her attack to at least be 3 times what her base was, and if I could push a little bit more. Now, the thing that I did learn, though, speed mattered a little bit more than critical damage. So I did try to get her above 350, if at all possible, and you kind of see there what the critical damage is. And the one artifact that I found that was working really well with her was the Ripper emblem here, giving her additional damage if she killed an enemy. So I toyed around with so many of the artifacts and swapped them around. I have a Spirit Siphon. I do have a Bloodbond Signet Hint that I could play with, and the Sharpshooter Crest. This one was the one that did not perform as well because, of course, the enemies get closer to you. If they stay away, you're going to get the boost. But this is the one that I then decided to just leave on her, and that's the one that I utilize for this example here. Now, Rasak here, I actually gave him a Soulbound Arcana set as well. One of the things, though, is I really wanted his speed revved up, so I did sacrifice some crit rate. It didn't hurt him a whole lot. 80% was still good. You can see the attack. I tried to boost it as much as I could, at least 3 times his base, and of course, critical damage. For him, he got the Blood Bond. He actually benefited a little bit more from the extra critical damage. And so, because I did not have another Reaper that was fully level, I just kind of compromised and gave him the Blood Bond for this particular example. I was able to summon his exclusive. I have not leveled it yet, so I have not been able to try it out even at level 10 yet, but we'll give it a whirl when the rotation comes open again. So these are the major 2. Of course, Silas, oh man, what is there to say? He ignores defense. So any opportunity you can unleash his ultimate on the boss, you do it, right? So Inferno Roar set, I tried to push his speed again. To me, speed was really what mattered in this example here. So I tried to push that as much as possible. And again, attack, I tried to push this at least 3 times what his base was, if not a little bit more. And Racha here, of course, she's just there to give us the lore bonus, give us that extension that we're going to need. Dolores, Invigoration set. We're going to get her to boost Nyx a little bit. Now, for my example, this was applied to me a little bit. I actually switched her ring to be a rage regeneration ring instead of an attack, but the other 2 are attack bonus. So just if you're going to try to copy what I'm setting out here, this is exactly what I set up to do with her for this example. And of course, she has a fully leveled Golden Scarab. And of course, Elowen, she's just boosting rage as much as possible, in addition to us trying to take down that purple octopus, right? So again, she has an invigoration set. This set is one that I just primarily use in PvE. So 2 attack bonuses and a healing effect. The artifact that I did choose for her, at least, is the orb. So she's the one that is going to be boosting Silas's speed even a little bit more. So I was able to get to at least 1,578,000. Let me show you here an auto run. Make sure that it's showing up on the screen. So I decided to just go ahead and use the bottom platform here. And if you're curious, Dolores here is in the middle and she's boosting Nyx. So I make sure that the extra attack went on Nyx when I placed everything down. Razak is here to the right. Elowen right here is teamed up with Silas. And I pretty much gave up on this side here. But I took the early opportunity, and this was key, is that everybody's coming from this left-hand side. So I just used the opportunity to try to at least to get to the B range by just unleashing Silas's ultimate on the boss. So then it was just tinkering around, trying to get the ultimates to pop off or be at the tail end when the tridents were showing up. So then they could just bring them down. Try to get ready for the next round. So I think it was by the last one, the last wave that comes around, that I did kind of get a little bit trapped. I couldn't get past them, so I couldn't get that extra boost that I needed to make it to the end. So this is what I'm going to be working on, hopefully in the next rotation when more times allows me to do it. And you can kind of see it got to S+. I was able to at least get that SS Plus and get into the top 100. And like I said, the one thing is just trying to get past all of this, right? To get those tridents down. If I can get one more rotation, one more turn, maybe I have a shot at a triple S. But right now, I am happy with this. We'll go with it. And it's this is the composition I'm going to be using in the future. Now, here's the thing though. I was not just going to throw my heavy roster at them. I decided, let's have fun with epics. Listen, this is just to see if we push the epics that are available in the game, how well can they do? And I set out this like, could we get at least S+? How overtuned this boss is. Can we get S+ with a group of epics? So, yes, I'm bringing Dolores. Dolores is going to boost people. We're going to get damage from at least a couple of them. As you can see here, I'm using Lunaria for the extra boost. I decided not to use Aracha, but we're bringing in Lunaria. And at least she can do some damage. She can try to bring some tridents down early on. I know she does magic damage, but at least she'll be able to do something for us. We're going to try out Esme. Actually, Esme does very well. She has that AoE damage burst. Theowin, I actually brought him just to see if I could slow things down, give the opportunity for Brunor and Maul to do their thing, right? And Maul, of course, if you have him in your count and you don't have all the marksmen, right? If you don't have Nyx and Razak and Kai, this guy is doing phenomenal. So I'm going to play you this. I tried so many different formations. I tried giving different artifacts just to see what would boost Brunor, what would boost Theo, and what would boost Esme. Eventually, I settled into what I thought was giving them the best opportunity, right, to do what they needed to do. So as you can see here in this example, I set up Maul to give me the most damage, right? So I give him the invigoration attack up. And I essentially then decided, okay, so I'm going to team him up with Theowin here. Hopefully he can slow down here. Give him an opportunity to do as much damage as possible from this side. In this here, this is Brunor. This is little Brunor over here, just all by himself, trying to get the right-hand side. And I team up Esme with Lunaria on this side. So that's the formation that I finally decided to settle on. Brunor has that long range, right? Attack range. He does AoE damage when his ult goes off. And it was just, you know, trying to make sure that he could do it. So here I'm just keeping an eye on things, hoping that things go well early on, just to at least get us into the C range before that third one came in, because that's when I was trying to think of the timings as to when can we then push stuff to the S+. So if you just have epics, which I doubt it. I mean, I'm imagining that you'll have one legendary in your account. If you are limited in that regard, then, you know, you could use some of these epics here. I'll show you the damage at the end too, just to give you an idea of how well they performed. But you could do some combinations here to, in this example, I was pushing them to try to get to S+. So of course I have to use very insane gear, right? We have to use endgame gear. But if you are in the mid game, in the late game, and you try to approach it in a similar manner to this by adding one of two or your legendaries, along with all these other epics that you may already have fully awakened, you could easily get a +S and get yourself some dragon coins, right? To get those ancient crystals, or if you want those recast hammers. Very easy to try to put things like this together. Now, given how overtuned this is, I think that one of the things that you're going to have to do is make sure that you invest on a couple of artifacts. Artifacts push this content. That's when you're going to get the most damage as well. And if you can build speed, don't be afraid to build speed on your heroes. And you can give up 10% crit rate. It did not hurt me too much in the example that I just gave you with my main composition. Razak did very well at the 80. I was able to push into the SS Plus because of the speed that I was able to get on them. So here, as you can see here, we already got to S Plus with our epics. So yes, there is a composition of epics that I found that can do it. It's just, you just got to have the gear for it. But like I said, if you're in the mid, late game, you could easily get a +S. Just to get yourself some dragon coins. And so here, he did get me here at the end. And I'm gonna let the clip here keep playing, because I do believe that I did record the builds. But essentially, it just became a swapping game from the gear that I had on the other heroes. So here is giving you an example here of who did the most damage. Look at how well Amal did. And of course, we gave him the boost, but he is insane in this content. So if you don't have Kai, Nyx, and Razak, like I said, he could easily replace him, at least to get you into that range. Theo and Brunor kind of did similar damage, of course, with Esme, but do remember that the Theowen was being boosted by Dolores. And Brunor was all by himself. He had the longer range, right? But we were using Tyranny primarily to just slow things down for us, right? Give them all a chance to do as much of the damage. And then you kind of saw Esme, what she was able to do in the left-hand side. And like I said, Lunaria, I mean, she's not going to do a whole lot of damage. She's magic dealer, magic damage dealer hero. So she's just going to be there to kind of give us the boost. But early on, she was at least able to get some of the enemies down. So let me keep playing this, because you probably are curious as to how the builds were set up, just in case you want to copy it. You could copy it with Night Terror sets, Wisdom sets. I would actually do Wisdom set, because I do think that is a little bit bugged just as well as the Soulbone Arcana set. The ultimates, eventually the damage that builds up a little bit. But Lunaria here, you saw her in a Infernal Roar set that I had as much crit damage as possible. You saw on her that I did focus attack speed on the amulet, and the other two were critical damage. Maybe I could have gotten a little bit more damage out of her with attack, ring, or bangle, but I wasn't primarily, I just wanted her use her for the Lord bonus. Now, Esme here, I did load up attack. You did see it. I'm a little bit short on critical rate because I wanted to boost her speed, but it didn't hurt us a whole lot. So that's that setup there. And in terms of the artifact, so you saw the sharpshooter here with Theowen. For Esme, I'm pretty sure it was the siphon that I had on her. Dolores, same setup as the one that I showed you early on. The invigoration set with the rage regeneration ring. So she's the one that allowed us to boost things up. And then, of course, I'm going to show you here with the AoE damage dealers, the ones that had the big ranges. So, Maul got the Reapers, and he got my Soulbone Arcana set. So with him, he benefits more from attack because he has that defense reduction on his ultimates or on his passive. So that's what I decided to use on him. And here, Brunor got another Soulbone Arcana set that I had, but I decided to focus speed on him. So do you see that it's not crit capped? I think it's just the one that Rasako was using from the major examples. So very, very, this was a very, very fun composition to put together just to see how much we could push this particular content. And S plus with how this boss is a little bit tricky to conquer to get into the triple S. They did a phenomenal job with that. So entertainment purposes only, kind of illustration of what the epics can do. And just to give you an idea of what type of compositions you can possibly put together to kind of push you into the A plus S range if you just want to get some quick dragon coins, all right? All right, well, I'll leave you there with that one. This has been another Furious Torrent presentation. There are the other ones that I did post very early on when this was in the Forerunner server. If you want to get some tips in terms of the basics and how to approach the content. Aside from that, I will see you all in the next video. Please do remember to hit like and subscribe on your way out. And I wish you all a very good day.
Together, we are the shield.